Well, I'm John Michalakes. I work at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Centers for Environmental Prediction. We do the weather modeling at the United States. My background is in high-performance computing and weather and climate models. I've been working on that for about 25 years now, give or take, for a number of institutions. And what I'm doing right now is looking at improving the scalability, the computational scalability of the models that we run operationally to produce the U.S. weather forecasts. And that involves improving the performance and efficiency on current architectures, but also looking at next generation computational architectures. Weather and climate applications were the first high-performance computing applications some 50 years ago. John von Neumann and his group at Princeton University ran the first weather forecast on what at that time was a high-performance computer, ENIAC, one of the first electronic computers. The other one was in Manchester at about that time. And there's still some question about who was actually first in terms of who had the first electronic computer. But Neumann and his group, they ran this forecast. That was the beginning of relationship between weather modeling and high-performance computing that's lasted until now and will continue. There's been an exponential growth in computer power since that time. Computer power has increased by 1,000-fold about every 10 years. And that increase has steadily translated into improvements in forecasts that have benefited the public for all those years. Round about 2004, we began to realize that there's a danger that weather modeling could fall off the high-performance computing train. And whereas it was one of the first high-performance computing applications at the beginning, we don't want it to be the first application to fall off this exponential increase in high-performance computing. We're talking about now tens of petaflops, which is 10 to the 15th floating point operations per second. Well, tens of would be 10 to the 16th floating point operations per second, all the way out to what they're now calling exascale, sometime in the next 10 years, which would be 10 to the 18th floating point operations per second. The difference that started about 2004 was that the computers themselves, the individual processors, stopped getting faster. So in order to keep increasing the computer power along that trend, that 1,000-fold increase every 10 years, the manufacturers have now just added more processors. So instead of faster processors, we now have more processors, which means we, the software people, have to work harder to try to find and exploit and expose all that parallelism so that that can be translated into faster performance of the weather models, which in turn is better performance for the weather forecasts. And that's what we're interested in maintaining. Well, right now we're probably performing in the hundreds of trillions of floating point operations per second. Within, say, the next 5 years, I think we'll be sustaining 1 petaflop, that 10 to the 15th floating point operations per second. Within the next 15 years, I think we'll be either at an exaflop or we'll be off the train. Well, the European Center sort of started the ball rolling with that, with a workshop that you sponsored in April. It was led to the ECMWF scalability program. My institution, the U.S. National Weather Service, is very interested in collaborating with it. We have exactly the same problem. So I think the focus of the scalability effort is not just on the computational speed, but on data volumes and input processing to the model, making the initial conditions better physics. All of this has to be addressed in order to reach or to stay on the train, to stay with this exponential increase in computing power. And as far as a timeline, I'd say the next 10 years will decide. Probably keep doing what we've been doing for the last 50, 60 years, taking computer cycles and turning them into value for the public and for users of numerically generated weather forecasts.